Welcome back to LimeStone tutorial number 2. This tutorial will basically cover how alpha maps work and some more advanced terrain generation. If you haven't seen LimeStone video 1, we recommend you to do that now. So first of all, let's just save this scene. It's empty, but let's say we have a name. Every time you press play, your scene is going to be deleted, or your node is going to be deleted unless you've saved it. So it's very important to save often. Let's just call it terrain 1. Throw out a multi-ranged, press play, and you see the standard multi-ranged pattern. We provided a set of presets here, so it's easier to just choose different kinds. For instance, valley is really large scale fluctuations, while small ridges will give you small sort of perturbations. Nice looking moon crater landscape. We like to add some colors to that, so just use the standard terrain alpha node here and press override to generate the alpha maps. So the first thing we like to do, and we save now, the first thing we like to do is couple this system or to transform the signal into something else. And you can do that by choosing the terrain filter. So the filter has one green input, that is a terrain input, and you can't really couple the green ones to anything else. This is impossible, right? These are alpha nodes, and the green one represents terrain nodes, if you haven't already figured that one out. This is an exponential filter. You can choose presets here, for instance, inverse holes, add some specific parameters that will generate a landscape, which is the inverse of this landscape that we already saw. Let's just do the alpha map to see how what that one looks like. Nice one. Or you can choose different kinds like min-max or erode or just scale or invert or take the power of the signal. In this case, we'd like to add a min-max to the node. So let's choose minimum 0 and maximum 0.5, for instance. You see there's a cutoff now, and let's increase that cutoff a bit, so you get something that looks a bit like Badlands or something. Yeah, let's go with a bit lower value perhaps, like that for instance, and increase the amplitude perhaps a bit, and this one is a bit as well. Yes, now that's nice. Take a look at the alpha maps. And that's it. Looks a bit like Badlands, but not. I mean, it's still really flat on the top here and looks very unrealistic. So what you do now is you just combine, you wish to add something or subtract something onto this map. So let's, for instance, take a new generator. We can generate standard polynoise. Standard polynoise looks like this. Let's choose more octaves. This is 20, you get something like this, very small scale perturbations. Let's just increase the scale, till we get something like that. It's good looking, and decrease the amplitude a lot. Yeah, so that's basically the signal we're looking for. What you now want is to combine these two signals, for instance, by using a combiner. So you wish to use this one and subtract this signal. And you do that by choosing subtract here, and let's just scale this up. This basically intensifies the upper signal. Now you see you get small scale perturbations on top here. Just, you know, a nice looking terrain. Let's save that one again. Now we wish to add some really nice Swiss noise mountains to this. Let's create mountains which have so Swiss noise basically looks like this. Swiss noise has a very nice property that it emulates erosion. These are not real erosion patterns. You see there are something here that looks like erosion. Lines that go down radially to where the mountaintops are. If you increase the power, you get larger mountains. If you decrease the power, you'll get more flat highland structures. The warp tells you whether the lines, the erosion patterns are extreme in the tangential or the radial directions. Basically just play around with these parameters and see what kind of crazy landscapes you can come up with. And of course, warp can go in the other direction and will provide you a very different kind of landscape. And there we are. So we want this standard, good-looking Swiss landscape here, like this. And we want to combine that one with the previous landscape in a nice way. So there are many ways to combine landscapes, and if you take a look at the combiner, you'll see that you can blend things together, basically meaning that you add them together, like add. You can subtract them or you can just multiply them. Multiply is very nice for island landscapes. I don't think it would do very much here. You need to increase the amplitude a lot. But what we want to focus on now is the purlin option. And that basically picks out different areas that will have this signal and another area which will have this signal. So this one will combine this signal with this signal on different places. And you see when the value here of the purlin noise is very low, you get very small scale perturbation, meaning that this is one signal, this is another signal, this is the first signal again, and it looks very rocky and unrealistic. So let's just decrease that value to something that looks a bit better. And let's generate the alpha map, so it's much easier to see what is what here. Now you basically see this is the Badlands terrain, while here you got, this signal is basically what you see up here, and this signal is here. And of course, if you now increase the size of the terrain, for instance to 4 times 4, now you need to regenerate everything again. And you see it starts generating the terrain with different purlin modes. And let's generate the alpha maps as well so we can see what the final product looks like. And there we are. That's our final map. Still kind of low resolution, but when you're finished, and if you want to increase the resolution, you can just do that in the settings here, or change the terrains or the textures or whatever. So now let's talk about alpha maps and on how alpha maps work. For that, we'll just clear the whole scene and we'll work with a smaller terrain. Let's say 2 times 2 again, back to the original one, and just create a standard Swiss noise map like this. So alpha maps basically work just like terrain generators. Remember, you can just shift click to pan the scene around. Or your notes around. Let's create, they have similar patterns here. You've got generators which generate an alpha map signal, and then you've got combiners which combine them in different ways. So for now, let's do a height generator. Let's just see what the standard one says. Basically combines one of the texture with one of the other textures at a certain height. If you increase the height value, you see, that's a bit extreme. Let's go down a bit. I want my terrain to be as green as possible. So that's it. The power tells you the strength of the transition here. The power is about 100. You get a very small band where, oh, that's a bit, let's see. You get a very small band basically here. This describes the texture weight. So texture 1 is the first input texture, which is this one. You can choose between texture 0, 1, and 2, which are the 3 textures that you set up here. So if you choose texture 2, for instance, which is the stone texture, then the bottom one, the upper one would be stone. And you choose the weight of texture 1 by this parameter, basically the intensity of the texture. Like this. Okay. Another generator would be an alpha generator, would be the normal generator, which tells you, which is only active. It basically creates a black map, 0 alpha maps, except for when you're, the normal, the curvature of the map is above a certain threshold, and that threshold is defined by the tilt value. In this case, we want to use texture number 3, which is the stone texture, 2 or whatever, and have a low weight because we want it to be dark, and let's say tilt to 0.5 and see what happens. Yeah, so you see there are very few places on the map where the tilt is larger than 0.5, so let's just increase that to something more feasible. Sorry, it's the opposite. The tilt must be more than this. Yeah, so this is what a normal map looks like. Now we'd like to combine this map with the height map here. And you do that by a standard alpha combiner. We'll make sure they've got red inputs. And there are, for now, just 2 methods to combine alpha maps. You can either blend them together, meaning you just linearly add them. It's not particularly useful, but we give you the option of having that. You see, in this case, it basically takes this signal and it pluses this signal and divides everything by 2, and you can change the amplitude here, but it still looks particularly crappy, right? Okay, so what you do now instead is choosing the override. And the override is what you want. It basically takes this map, but if this value from this map is larger than 0, it will automatically choose this one or blend them together. So it combines these 2 maps in a very smooth way. And similarly, you've got another alpha map called the curvature, which takes another texture and a weight of the texture, and now you have to calculate the curvature threshold of that map, for instance to 90, this will be really high, 90 something. And this generates an alpha map for the saddle points, or the bottom points of the map. Let's choose the standard sand texture, and let's combine these 2 again. And we do that by alpha combiner, and override. And remember that the one you wish to override has to be the lower input. And that's it. A final feature is that we got another combiner here, and I wanted to show you how that one works, and that's a Berlin combiner. So let's do another height map, and let's make that pure sand. Everything is sandy in this height map. Not sandy, this should be sandy. And we now wish to combine the previous one and give some areas, and let some areas of the map be only sandy. So we choose the Berlin method, and let's see what happens now. And this method combines this signal, which you see here, with this signal in certain areas. If you increase the value here, that increases the scale. For instance, to 1, you will get very small scale fluctuations here, very small patchy areas of texture nodes. Larger ones will give you, well, again, larger areas of texture blending. And that's it. Remember to save, and thank you for watching.